phone call, right? Like literally, I hit record.
Now we're gonna have to cut that.
The
Ben.
phone calls.
We should make Ben leave that in the beginning of the podcast.
It's Donnie. Welcome
There
to the
you go.
podcast. Hey guys, we're starting this a little bit different, right? We got everybody on the screen. We're adding screens. I'm Dr. Ben Spears with the Brokerpreneur podcast. I'm here with my co-host, as always, my cohort, my co-pilot, coal miner, Matt Vi, the big guy. How's it going? You can tell
he's from Kentucky. I'm doing absolutely, positively fantastic, just like always. Super excited about our guests, just like always. So recently we were talking to Yvonne. I've got to talk a little bit about how we got here, right? Because we love Yvonne, right? So she's fantastic, and she was talking on her podcast, and she mentioned the importance of, we talked about delegation, and we're actually going to talk about that in an event that's coming up as well. And she was talking about delegation and how important automation was in that conversation. And so that's part of how we met these guests. It was Rob and Wilton, which I'll let Ben, he'll introduce them in just a second. But Yvonne, the way that she shaped the conversation about how important that it was that people do that, and how important it was that they automate. I hope everybody listens and tunes into this and grabs onto what these guys are saying, because I think we're about to blow some people's minds.
Yeah, completely agree. And we're going to go door to door with it. So, if you hear a knock, it's us bringing this podcast to you. So guys, let's introduce our guests. You might be able to see them here if you're watching this on YouTube, but we have Wilton Rogers and Rob Howze, as in how's it going?
Yeah.
From Simply Automate. How's it going, guys?
Oh, going great.
Going really good.
It's going fantastic. Thanks for having
me. Before we get started, I wanted to say hello to Yvonne for connecting us. She's an amazing woman. So you gotta give her a shout out.
She means business. She means and lives business.
Yep.
She does.
That's our people.
It is, man.
Yeah.
She's mic dropping so much, man. It's just, and anybody that tunes into what she's doing, you guys know this, man. She'll say stuff in such a simple, clear way. It just makes it so easy to absorb. And you're like, why am I not doing it exactly the way Yvonne just said?
Yeah,
exactly. She's helped us out. She definitely helped me personally. We've had some personal conversations, and she's helped me get things on track. So yeah, she's an amazing woman.
Yeah, she's a beast.
Yeah. So looking just like, seeing where you guys are, right? It's obvious that, Wilton, you're in a penthouse somewhere on the other side of the planet, because it's dark. Rob, you're in like a beehive.
Yeah.
You're
automated beehive.
Tell us where Simply Automate is. Talk to us a little bit about that, and a little bit about what the company does.
Well, I'll tell you where it is. Rob does a better job of explaining who we are, what we do. But we're a global company. We're based out of Austin, Texas. But we have our personnel, our staff is here in the U.S. We have some in Latin America. We have some in the U.K. And then we have clients all over the world. So we're global, and all of our workforce is remote. And that's the great thing about automation and technology now, is that all of our employees are remote, and we meet every single day, and we're able to make things happen.
I love it.
How do you make things happen, Rob?
The same way the 21st century has allowed us to have this wonderful conversation in the same living room. Where are you guys at exactly?
Clearwater, Florida.
Wilton, where are you at right now?
Austin, Texas.
And I am in the beautiful Crofton, Maryland, and we're in the same living room. And so conversations and the ability to use technology has just blown my mind, because we can have these fascinating conversations. And so, along with that, technology has allowed us to learn how to do things better and faster as well. And so, to make a long story short, anything you're doing repetitively, a human being doing repetitively, is like an action that's redundant. They no longer need to do that.
Right.
Okay. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, because they're human, they should be treated better, right? And their value is higher than this robotic activity. Number two, once you remove the person from doing that repetitive stuff, now you actually can optimize that particular process, because it works faster, no mistakes all night, doesn't go to the bathroom, all that stuff, right? Digital employee. Now that person who was doing the mundane work, now they can focus on something and reallocate their energy somewhere else and just oversee the redundant work. Wilton said something phenomenal on our podcast we recorded yesterday. He said that RPA allows the company to run. So technology allows the company to run, but people make the company grow.
I love it.
Yeah.
You want to grow and you need people to do that. So they can't do the stuff that's redundant. Get the technology to do that. That's kind of what we do.
Well, I know I said I was going to let Ben ask questions and talk before we started, but that's already stopped, right? We got it. There's too much to talk about.
See you guys later.
So Wilton, I've listened to a couple of you guys' podcasts, 3 or 4 of them, as a matter of fact. Love them. Okay. And so Wilton, you said something on one of the podcasts that was really great. And Rob, I love how you keep things moving on the podcast. It's fantastic. But Wilton, you said that, if 2 companies have 3 employees each, you and the company across the street both have 3 employees each, and one company is using automation and the other one is not. The company that's not using automation is going to lose, period. Because those 3 employees are absolutely positively leveraged and focused on something different than those other people are, right? So tell us exactly what RPA is, because we've already talked about it a few times, right? So Rob, if you'll tell us what RPA is, and then Wilton, I think you're the guy that kind of plugs on the computer, right, and gets it all figured out and puts it together. Can you tell us a little bit about how you got started after Rob tells us what RPA is?
That's beautiful. Like Scotty and Jordan. Okay. All right. Yeah. RPA, robotic process automation. Robotic meaning anything that's repetitive, redundant. Process is that particular process from end to end, and automation is streamlining that. So RPA, robotic process automation, is really just business automation, which is really just a digital employee, which really just does all the mundane work, which really is pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's really simple. I mean, people make it more difficult than it really is. So what we usually say is, if you go to work and you know what you're going to do every single day behind a computer, more than likely you can automate that, right? Because you're going to do it over and over and over again. It's like, okay, why are you going to do that over again? And for us, what we're saying, going on what you talked about earlier about, 2 businesses being the same with same employees, when you can take those employees away from those repetitive tasks, like Rob was saying earlier, it gives that employee more value. So in other words, they feel more valued. They don't have to put their head down working on some type of data, moving data from one place to another place, when they could be creative, when they could be more of a voice, when they could be more on the front end of the company. And what we've seen, especially what's so great about this, is in the smaller businesses, because smaller businesses wear a lot more hats.
Right.
And when you can eliminate those processes from those employees, the joy and the love of what they do is a lot bigger. The retention is huge. So because people are starting to feel more valued. So, that's what RPA does. And that's the reason why we got into it, is because once they understand the concept of what it can do, then that point they know exactly the value that they can bring to the company, that RPA can bring to the company, and what they can focus on. And it's been a huge game changer. So just wanted to add that. But to going off what you're saying about how I got started, I sort of, it was I'm a serial entrepreneur. So I always, for the last 30 plus years, I've always opened businesses up in different industries. And I was introduced to RPA in 2017. And long story short, I saw what it was able to do, and I was like, okay, I'm on board. Moved my family to Houston, jumped on board, and I was so excited, saying, we're going to be able to change the world. What I didn't know at the time, that it was only available for the large enterprise. So when I was working in the large enterprise, it was great. Financial was great, because when you do 1 or 2 processes, the floodgates just opened up within that organization. So we were able to do a lot more. But I felt like I'm not giving any value. What they're doing is they're looking at replacing people
Right.
you know, and putting more money into the investors' pockets, which is fine. I mean, I understand that part. But I know as a small business, I was looking at being a small business owner. I was thinking, there's no way I would replace people. I would have those people, I would hire people to help me grow my business. But nobody was doing that in 2017. And so I was just trying to figure out ways to do it. So I was looking into different software, working with different developers, analysts. And, you know, little by little, we started working with medium-sized enterprise. And then it wasn't until 2019 that we found one that we finally, it's like, okay, these are the guys that are going to allow us to do whatever we need to do. By then, I had already built a relationship with some developers, with analysts that sort of knew the game. And we started working on these projects with different programs for different clients. And we just decided, hey, you know what, let's just start my own company and let's bring on everybody on board. And the first one that, of course, was on board was Rob. So Rob and I have been together since the beginning. And we started bringing other you know, developers, analysts, and project managers on board to sort of help us really streamline our process and our service, so we can offer that to clients. So when the pandemic hit, that's when people realized, okay, I don't have employees now, but I had to keep my doors open. How do I do that? So we started saying, hey, let's see what we can automate. So we start automating these processes. But we realized, like, oh, now I can bring those employees back to be more on the customer service side, because these employees already knew exactly how the company worked. And when they came in, they felt like more value. I don't have to go back to my behind the desk looking at my computer for 8 hours a day. Now I can be in front of that desk, you know, and just checking emails if I wanted to. So we saw that. And that's when we finally said, okay, we need to figure out a roadmap on how to really communicate this to our clients, to the world. And we realized that everybody knew automation at a different level or didn't even know about it. So we became an educational source, a resource. People get the education and knowledge before they do the investment. And that's what we do. So now we actually educate people on what we do, give them the knowledge, we map it out, we actually deploy, we call it a POC, a proof of concept, for them for free. So now not only do they get to understand it, but they get to see the benefits and the value before they even try to invest in it.
That's big to know. That's big too.
It's been huge.
Oh yeah, that's
to
good.
understand benefit before you make any investment. The only thing you have to pay is attention to what's happening. And once you do that, you can't unsee and unlearn the value that when you do this properly, what it creates.
Yeah. You know, there's a few things, and I was taking notes. 'Cause that's what I do. And
You're a doctor, of course you do.
yeah, there's a few things that I'm hearing here that I really want our listeners, you know, of course, like the importance of automation is, you know, we talk about it like on the hour, right? And we have that, you know, conversation with our coaching clients as well. But there's a few things that you said here, you know, about how automation can help with retention. Right? Because I want to bring these keywords in, because, you know, maybe we have a listener who's not like super tech savvy and they're like, well, I don't know if this is for me, that kind of thing. But then you also talk, I don't know how many times you said it. I have about 68 tick marks here beside of it. But you said the word value. You always felt like you wanted to provide value. And then that just goes to show like what a successful company, what a successful entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. I'm like the Lucky Charms, and he's like Frankenberry, serial entrepreneurs. And so successful businesses lead with value, right? I'm trying to bring in these keywords so our listeners can say, whoa, before I think this is over my head,
Yeah,
they're speaking the same vocabulary and the same language of everything that we've ever.
Yeah, looking at it from a broker standpoint, to be real to the point about this. So a broker listening to this, you talked about allowing the people that you work with, allowing them to feel value and feel connected and look forward and get away from the mundane. Think how much better a broker would do if there was processes in place that allowed the agents in their office to not have to worry about the mundane part, but they could go out there and focus on doing a better job for the clients, the sellers and buyers, right? That's what we're really talking about here. So I want to dig into that a little bit, okay? So that the listeners understand where we're coming from. You've done some casework with some real estate stuff, right? Are you able to talk to us a little bit about some of that? Is that things that you can get into at all? And was it real estate brokerages that you dealt with, or was it real estate agents, or was it lead generation? I don't want to put you all on the spot, but are you able to kind of dig into what you did from a real estate standpoint with some people?
You're officially on the spot.
Yeah, we're officially, yes. We're on the spot.
I didn't say I wouldn't. I said I didn't want to.
You didn't want to, yeah.
I am putting you
on the
right
spot.
here's the spot, and you're on top of it.
All right. Well, since we're putting the spot, I guess we'll share with you. Yes, we can. For us, well, just to let you know, we know real estate, why they get into real estate is to help people, right? Is to be able to service their client and be able to give that client their dream house or, dream service, the whole bit, and that's their job. But what comes with that is a lot of paperwork, and we've seen that in the back end. And when you can eliminate that from their task, they spend more time just being able to do what they do best, right? So we know on our end, so we work with brokers, we work with property management companies that are both in the property space and the real estate space. So, they cross over for each other. But, just being able to take processes away, like we've done home inspections, we've done, mortgage applications, all that, can be done, document processing, different things that you do, all these different things, lease agreements, all these different things that have to do with just paperwork, a lot of data. There's rules that go with it, right? So let's say, for example, that they're looking to do a home inspection. We know all these houses have home inspections, right? There's certain things that you have to do. You have to make sure, I know what one we did, you have to make sure they have to cover these certain codes. The paint has to be this, and just different things that I've seen, right? These are all rule-based things that have to be done, and you have to put them somewhere. So you grab it, you get the information, you have to put it into the application, and then you have to make sure that the document comes out and that has all those, because if you don't have if one of those things are missing at title, it'll hold up everything, right? So for us to be, for the bot to be able to, we call it a bot, a digital employee, like Rob was saying earlier, it follows the rules that you give it. So the minute you tell it exactly what you want, it's like an employee, like you're an assistant. I want you to get this information. I want you to put it on here. I want you to put it into this system. I want you to save it here. And I want you to send it out to a title company and send it out to the buyer, the seller, and all these different things, right? Those are all steps that are repetitive over and over and over again. So once we figure out all those different rules and the logic that's built behind it from end to end, all that can be automated because it's all in a digital format. The minute it's in a Word doc, Excel, a PDF, it could be on a JPEG. It doesn't matter. As long as it's in a digital format, the bot can grab that information and manipulate it and put it anywhere that you want it to, where it needs to go in order for you to complete your job. So, the processes that we have done are probably the ones that off the top of my head are the ones I'm talking about. And even in real estate, in the property management, especially property management, we're working with a couple really big, huge ones. One out of Hollywood that's probably, a $250 million company but they do real estate. But we're doing, new tenants, but we're doing the full document processing that has to be that you do in real estate. All those are just loads and loads of paperwork. All that has totally been automated, and we know those are hours and hours and hours of work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when you take that away from a realtor, they're just like, okay, now I really love my job, because I know most realtors don't like that work. They have to do that work because they know they're going to get paid off it. But if they can eliminate it, or that's why they hire so many assistants to do it, because they don't have to do it. Well, now those assistants that they're working with, don't like to do it either because they want to be realtors. Most of them that I know, they want to be realtors. So
Right.
now it's like, now they don't have to be an assistant anymore. They could be a realtor and do the same thing that they're doing, just help that brokerage out. So we're seeing a lot more, especially now that it's been busy. Obviously the real estate is starting to grow. And we're seeing a lot more individuals saying, okay, how can I take advantage of this hot market that we're in right now and eliminate myself from all this paperwork? We'll show you how.
So Rob, I want you to talk a little bit about, so one of the other conversations we had, I asked, I was like, okay, so do you completely create everything from a software standpoint and people have to learn this new program and redo things, or do you somehow, use existing programs, or is there some combination between the two of those? And your answer, I don't remember exactly what it was because you said it very nicely and I just felt calm and soothed about your answer because it didn't scare me being somebody that didn't want to have to learn something new. I wanted to be able to use some of the programs that I'm already using, but be able to add some automation on top of that. So can you talk to us a little bit about that? So if they have a favorite forms program already, is there a way that they work with that favorite forms program to integrate with a home inspection like Wilton was just talking about?
Absolutely. So yeah, the good thing to know is that everything you're using, you can keep using. Change nothing. Think of having everything you have, keeping it the same, but now just getting that, again, digital assistant, digital employee to come and help you connect the dots on all of it. And so that's probably the easiest thing about it. You don't have to relearn anything. Right now, it's more so about finding out where the redundancy is, and wherever that is, now implementing the automation. So now we can optimize that process and move on to the next, as we've seen with 99.9% of the organizations we've worked with. They get one digital employee, and next thing you know, it's digital employee party. Right.
That's it. I'm glad you brought that up. It's funny. We had a conversation on Tuesday with a client, and they asked the same thing. And I said, I'll put it very simple. If you hire somebody to do what you're doing currently, the way you're doing it with the same applications, you don't have to invest. You don't have to do anything. All they got to do is show them what to do. That's what you do for the bot. That's what the bot will do. So you don't have to, and there's no learning. There's no learning. All you're doing is teaching the bot what to do. So all you do is teach that bot what to do, and then your hand's completely off, and it can use any application. And the great thing about it is once you see it happening, you'll understand how you can use it, and then you'll know how to improve it, because you say, okay, well, since I can do that, can I do this? I have the software already doing it. Now I got to add this logic to this, and can we grab that information and put it here? So now you start understanding it. And that's the great thing about RPA, because there's no changing of your software, there's no changing of your programs, because we know companies have used programs for a long time, and it takes a while to learn these programs and to really teach somebody how to use them, right? And for us, it's like we don't do that at all. Us is just teach the bot what you're doing with your current programs, and the bot will do exactly that. And the great thing about it is that, let's say that program, there's an upgrade in that program, right? And you're working manually doing that program, like, oh, there's an upgrade. Now I got to switch the logic here and here. Same thing with the bot. The bot will recognize, oh, there's an upgrade on the system. And now instead of grabbing the name over here and the date over here, it's located over here now. So the bot will go back to, we call it the gatekeeper, the person that's actually responsible for this process, and tell them, hey, I don't know what to do here. Tell them what to do. And the minute it tells them to do, okay, oh, I see the name and the date has been moved over here. Now this is where you got to grab that information. Right. It'll go back to work and never, ever ask you that question again.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
So just think of it as, yes, that's the great thing about RPA. It doesn't have to change. You don't have to change your software, your logic, your applications, nothing. It just automates what you're currently doing.
That hurt my feelings a little bit.
I wasn't talking about you that time, Ben.
I'm gonna see if I can automate that. I'm here with your bot.
It's easy. Just push a button. No.
That's it.
Brokerpreneur podcast here as usual with the bot.
If you learn how to do that, let me know.
Right.
So I have a question, and just I think about things, right? So from a social media standpoint, right? Are there things that this bot can do to help people with their social platforms? Yes, no, maybe so. Whatever, any answer is fine. I'm just curious.
Well, the answer is yes. But the thing about it
is there
is
something secret like under like a red silk blanket right now? I don't, I'm just saying, I don't want to like, this is just something off the top of my head because I used to own a digital marketing company. And so that's what I was thinking about.
You know the beautiful thing about this RPA is that it automates the automation. And so with social media, you have these different sequences that you may automate. But then when you have RPA, you can automate the entire sequence, no matter what's involved. And Wilton can drill down deeper into that element of it. Yeah. But that is like the beauty of it. It sits on top. And so, yes, social media for sure. Prospecting, reaching out, segmenting, aggregating, messaging, follow up,
Gens, it all, without giving a whole lot away, because there's some things that
yeah, that
long story short, yeah. Yeah. But social media is huge, and there's a lot of things that people have to continue doing manually in order to stay on top of the game. Yeah. Automation has taken away a lot of that, right? Yeah. And be able can key in on certain things that are going to drive business to a company.
Yes.
And it does that.
Yep.
So everybody's different, obviously, on what they're looking to do. But once we understand those key components, it's a game changer.
So I'm going to change the subject, but here's what we're going to do.
Hold on, I gotta calm Matt down here.
All right, so because shit just got real in here.
Okay,
so listen. So the social media part, what we're going to do is we're going to do that in the wrap up. Okay, so we talked about doing a wrap up for our clients. We're going to dig into the social media part just a little bit more in the wrap up. Okay, so but let me change gears from that to something else. So if I'm a broker out there and I'm trying to understand how to make this work for me, I'm going to give a suggestion. You guys go, oh yeah, that would be, way too hard, or that doesn't make any sense, or yes, Matt.
I don't feel like they'll ever say that, big.
Yeah.
Right. So, here's before I'm going to cut you off.
And he always says that I cut him off.
Yeah, I'm cutting him off this time. I imagine when these guys wake up, it's like the Jetsons. They get on the conveyor belt. They're still asleep. It showers them. This robot arm comes out and brushes their teeth. They take their daily meal pill, and then they're off to work. And Rosie the robot is taking.
You interrupted me for that.
Yeah, straight up.
Right. So back to the podcast now.
I'm so sorry, guys, that I make everything entertaining.
That's awesome. We got to do this. We have to do this.
Ben. All right. So Ben, are you and Rosie done?
We're done.
Okay. All right. So check this out. So a broker that works in a certain neighborhood, they do their CMAs, they get their valuation, they go to a program that they can put stuff in, and it gives them the valuation back and all that kind of stuff. And then they sit down and they have a conversation with that person that called and said, hey, can you tell me maybe how much my house is worth? Right. I bet if they had a digital employee that's willing to work all the time, I bet what they could do is they could constantly update the values on those houses in a certain neighborhood, so that anytime there's new information about whatever the value is on those houses, that they're automatically getting some type of update, and they could push that update out to every one of those houses. There's been a little bit of a change in the market. I just wanted to update you on what was going on. Here's a little bit more information about how this may impact your house. And so now all of a sudden that bot could create valuations based on literally every house in a neighborhood, because it has the data of whatever has changed. Did I miss something on that? Or is that something that the bot could do? Tell me, could Rosie do that?
That's something that the bot is doing. That's something the bot is doing. Yes, to answer your question, absolutely. And it does it in real time.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah. It can go to, and just so we can,
Nothing
give you-
more than
give you
you're
the-
allowed to
yeah.
say, okay? Seriously.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll go where it needs to go to figure out what the value is in real time. So if that changes, that value changes. It can check that every single day to see if it changes, right? And it comes back. So when they hit certain key things, that house, that area, what's my house worth compared to all these other comps, whatever, boom, there it is in real time. So let's say that it changes, right? So now the market's hot. We know the house values are really high, right? So that house would be a lot higher right now. But let's say a year down the line, they're checking every single day. Like they see, oh, by the way, I see the market going down, the value going down this week compared to last week. Let's jump on it now. It does that for you. Absolutely. It's doing it now.
Yeah, so I love that. That's absolutely fantastic. And you said go and check places, so that means it's probably going to tax records as well as it going to, he's shaking his head yes for everybody that's on
Yes.
the podcast.
Yes.
They're watching on YouTube. So I love that. So it's not just pulling from the MLS, from the IDX.
No.
It's also pulling from tax records and anywhere else that all of this.
Main sources. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so fantastic. So if I'm a broker out there and I'm thinking, oh, no one can do a CMA as good as I can, you're freaking wrong. What
Right.
that boils down to is somebody else can and already is doing CMAs better than you, and they're doing them every morning before you have your first cup of coffee. And they're doing it on your entire neighborhood. So you can't ignore this, right? It's time to get your meal pill and Rosie to brush your teeth, because things are already moving that way. So if you're a broker, take a close listen to what we're talking about and look and see if there's things you're doing repetitively that we might be able to hand off to somebody else, right? Am I missing anything there, guys?
You're not missing. And the great thing about it is that, a lot of this can work on the alpha hours. So when you show up to work, it already has all the data you need.
Yeah.
So by the time you show up, you're ahead of the game. You don't have to start researching it when you get to work. It's already done for you.
Yeah, I love it.
Beautiful.
I love it. Yeah, that's so killer. So everybody knows, they can tell we could probably talk about this for like the next 68 hours. Yeah. So, but being respectful of everybody's time, we're going to wrap it up. But I've got to, so Wilton and Rob, I need you to raise your right hand really quick, even before I tell you what it's for. I promise I'll come back on the podcast and talk more about this.
I promise I'll come back.
I'll come back to the podcast and talk more about this. Absolutely.
I like that. Put your right hand up before I tell
I
you.
love
Put
it.
your right hand up.
There's got to be some trust, man. There's got to be some trust.
I didn't raise mine. You guys saw it. I've fallen for that one before.
That's because the three of us are going to put a bot together, man.
That's it.
That's fine. That's fine. If it needs bad jokes, let me know.
Let you know. Well, speaking of bad jokes, I think we need to get you on our podcast to tell
Already
us those
booked.
jokes as well.
They're
Oh, it's already
already
booked.
Yep.
Yeah, we
Ready
can't
to
wait.
roll.
Well, thank you, Rob. Well, he's the man, so he's the one that runs that thing. So that's
It was
great. That's
automated.
great.
It was automated.
It was automated.
That's how Ben is with us, man. I got to just show up, right?
That's it.
All I got to
Me
do is
too.
get on the conveyor belt, and he's got the toothbrush going.
There you go. This has been great. This has been by far the best podcast.
So guys, the biggest thing that I want to make sure that everyone hears here from our listener standpoint is it can all be summed with RPA, right? Redundancy, processes, and automation. There's so many things that every broker who's listening does every single week, every single day, sometimes every single hour, that you don't have to be doing. Right? We haven't invented the meal pills yet. Right? Can't get your one a day, but from a business standpoint, you should be eating your normal food anyway. But from a business standpoint, there's no reason that you guys should be doing those things. That's the only way that you're going to scale your brokerage.
Yep.
And give you that time. So we talk a lot about recruiting. Give you that time that you say that you don't have to go out there and meet and
Right.
value and connection.
So big.
with those
Be
those
with your
agents.
clients, man.
Absolutely.
If for no other reason, to do this, and both Rob and Wilton, you both said this. If for no other reason, if you truly want what's best for your client, then be you with them. The only way that can happen is if you get rid of some of that redundancy through the RPA, through the robotic replacement, right? That's fantastic. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, that's so important because most people, well, every business that we talk to, really doesn't know the value of it or what they can do. And that's the thing about it, is like they don't until they understand it. And that's why we do more of the consulting on the front end first. Like, you know what, you got to know it first.
Yep.
Because everybody's different. Everybody thinks a bit different. Everybody's logic is different. So you have to really understand it. So going into it, get with someone that really knows how it works. That way you can see how it can be implemented within your own organization. Once you understand that, it's amazing how fast, like Rob was saying at the beginning, they just do multiple processes right away, because it goes from not being a value to maybe being on the 10 to being on the number 1 or number 2 as a value, because they see how much of an impact it makes right away.
Quickly.
And once we see the smaller businesses take advantage of it, we see them seeing the big benefits more than anybody right away.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. And it's a great segue too, right? So you start with more of a consulting side. If somebody who's listening says, I would like to get started with that process, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you, connect with you, learn more about what you do? As always, listeners, I'm going to put that in the description right below. So listen as best as you can. I'll automate the rest.
That's great. I tell you what, the number one place I invite everyone to come to as well is LinkedIn. LinkedIn, connect with us both on LinkedIn. Our company is on LinkedIn, Simply Automate. Great community there. LinkedIn is where most of our businesses even come from. Most of our relationships have come from. Our channel partners, affiliates, companies, customers, me, oh my, it's like, it's amazing. And so I would say come there. Of course, our website, simplyautomateinc.com. I would always say go there, because it's such a great resource of information. Information is so crucial, because you go from knowing absolutely nothing about this particular technology, and then you click on your own industry, and now you can see use cases and learn more about how it's being used. Really quickly get a good understanding. And then I can't not say the RPA playbook. This is a download. Wilton wrote this book. It was supposed to be a post. It started as a post.
I hear you, Wilton.
Yeah.
I feel your pain, brother.
I got one of those too, Rob.
Once you get going,
I got one of those.
4 in the morning. 4 in the morning. You're still hammering away.
That's it.
I was like, okay. But then with a PDF, and then it was a couple pages, and then it became, was it 28? It's a book.
I like that.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's not too much. But what it really is the RPA playbook, and it really is the X's and O's of how you can really execute automation. How. And that's the big thing. Open your paradigm up, and all of a sudden you say, I can see clearly now. It's different.
Yeah.
So I was the RPA playbook, download that.
Rob, don't make me break out in the song. Please, last time anybody listens to the podcast.
Please, Rob.
Yeah, he can sing, by the way. He can really sing. But yeah, just to go off what Rob was saying, our website, if you want to contact us there, because if you can just click on there, and it'll take you to a real simple questionnaire, so we get an overview of what industry you're in, what you do. So when we talk to you, we'll have use cases. We can show you some demos. We can just give you more education. And like you said, our LinkedIn, we post every single day on our LinkedIn page, our personal one, but also our business one. And it's up-to-date information about what we're doing. Our website, of course, it's there. It's information that we put on there. But if you want to learn the new things that are coming out, what we're doing on a regular basis, it's LinkedIn, because we're posting daily there.
Yeah, that's so good.
I love that. Well, guys, I will put links to their company LinkedIn page, as well as both of their personal LinkedIn profiles, so make sure that you connect with them there. And of course, we'll have the normal things like the website, and where you can go to get that download as well.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna put a little bow on it. I'm gonna say thank you for coming, because I am grateful.
Super grateful.
Right? That's not just something automated in my brain. I just say thank you to everybody. But we're super grateful that you wanted to share with everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us. Yeah, this has been great. I mean, the energy on this podcast is amazing. You guys are amazing. So really, thank you for having us. We're very grateful for having us.
That's really edutainment, man. That's edutainment at its finest.
It
really.
is.
You too.
Edu, Tainment. No, I said that wrong. Edutainment.
Well, guys, this brings us to the automated portion of our program. If you're listening to this on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Deezer, any of those platforms, make sure you hit that follow button. If you're watching this on YouTube, how's it going? Make sure you hit that red subscribe button, that follow button right beside it to get notified every time we drop a new episode. There's no better time than the present than to go to brokerpreneurpodcast.com. If you don't know how to spell it, look at your phone and check out all the cool things that Matt and I have to grow your business, no matter what phase or stage of the business that you're in. Matt, we do these wonderful podcasts. We bring on amazing guests like Rob
and Wilton.
I was going to turn that into a joke.
No.
And Wilton. Bring on amazing guests like Rob and Wilton, who are absolutely geniuses and experts in their field for one reason and one reason alone. And tell us why that is.
Because we just want to be part of your win.